Hi, welcome to episode 42 of GrandLine Grinders, your number One Piece podcast. We do it every single week. And today, of course, we're always with favorite anime villain. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good. Shout out to the homie. I don't even actually know him, but shout out to Batsu for releasing the sim update last night before I was able to stream. So I took a little nap. I woke up to an updated sim. I got to play some OP15.
Yeah, straight banger.
Five cost yellow Luffy is double activating its effect for some reason. So I guess be aware of that. But pretty good. Pretty
Yeah,
good week.
that has to be a very good. That's like opening up a gift on Christmas, right?
Yeah, I've shifted trying to pretty much just make like OP15 content now. Well, obviously until the next set after 15, but for the time being I'm shifting to like 15 so I can get ready for it. And it's awfully convenient that the sim is updated now.
Yeah. So, I mean, today we're going to be talking a little bit about, of course, the normal meta for OB14 right now. And then we're going to be talking about three deck lists that we all kind of want to get into that might be the front runners from OP15. We also want to talk a little bit about power creep and how that could be causing buyer fatigue. So, we're going to talk about that a little bit after. And if you like this podcast, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. That way you're alerted every single week when we go have our podcast go up. And let's start off with of course, the meta shifts. The changes from last week, I don't know if there actually is any. There's no arrow differences here. So there's not, I don't think that maybe that means there's not really a change.
I
We
think
could just look at,
the arrows are differences in win percentages between
yeah,
the weeks.
the ratings, I believe, yes. Which factors in your win percentage and your other stuff too.
Well, I mean, I'm not. That's not what I mean. I don't think the arrows mean a shift in where the leader is positioned. I think it's a shift in like how well the deck is doing.
Yeah, these two green metrics right here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Nami's on top. I think this is just a caveat that everyone's wanting to test the best deck for the Heroine Cup. So she overwhelmingly is going to get a lot of support on that axis because I think she is just one of the best leaders for that format. Surprisingly, Bonnie's not here for the exact same reason because Bonnie also, you would argue, is one of the best leaders for the Heroine Cup.
Well,
But
yeah, but people who play Bonnie at the Heroine Cup are people who already played Bonnie. No one's like casually picking up Bonnie for the Heroine Cup.
I mean, you could argue that I could have, I guess. I think I don't typically play green, so there are some people I guess that may not technically play it, that might just play it because it's kind of been out of the format for a couple sets now. So maybe it would have to be someone that just started.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that would be the only people that would play it. So that is a valid point. But
like I'm not saying like I'm sure you under. I'm not saying that it's someone who's currently playing Bonnie, but there are a lot of Bonnie diehards out
yeah,
there. And
yeah,
I feel like those people, unless they're playing Nami or Boa, they were probably like, "Oh, I'll do Bonnie. It's probably good into that meta."
yeah. I just wasn't sure if somebody would be like maybe hasn't played it for a couple since OP14, right? Because Mihawk came out, and maybe they were wondering what is the best version now of Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something no one cares about since it's probably really good. I mean, it's historically has been a very good female leader. I mean, because you have Nami, you have Bonnie, and you have Boa Hancock, and you have Vivi. Surprisingly enough, when I went to mine, like I seen Yamato twice, so that was a interesting feel. Um, but I guess I should ask, what was your experience with your Heron Cups? Like, did you have?
I only really saw meta, and then like I think I saw a Nico Robin. I did see a Bonnie, which is a little annoying, but I would consider that meta for Heroine Cup, especially when the two best decks are blue yellow, which can play a little bad into Bonnie.
Yeah, and I think she's even pretty decent into Vivi, isn't she? Like,
Not bad if she develops the Tashigi.
yeah. So, I mean, other than that, like, this has kind of been the same, right? I think Rosie was here last week.
Yeah, I think Rosie is probably like it has a couple bad matchups, but I think Rosie is probably the best deck in the format. Um, I think people are just testing more Nami
Yeah.
for Heroine Cup purposes. Like some people are going to play Nami regardless, but I think it's seeing a lot more play right now because of the Heroine Cups.
Yeah, and then of course, I think everything else is. I guess Luffy's back. I don't think he was here
Yep.
last week. Up,
I
Luffy.
think he might have been lower, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he was. I don't think he was here. But still, that's like he's. I guess no, he was 8. Week 1. No. Yeah. Okay. He was. Yeah, he's been there. So never mind. So not much changes here overall since the 5th, but I do kind of wonder if I'm actually surprised the numbers didn't like kind of slow down because I know a lot of people have moved over to the other sim.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, a lot of people on Project Raftel trying to test out 15.
yeah, so I was kind of surprised. Maybe that's why there's not that much changes. People aren't just playing on this client right now. Uh,
A lot of people have been waiting for the sim update, the Batsu sim update.
yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, the first stream I'm doing a full dedicated 3 hour purple black Luffy stream.
Hell
We
yeah,
are trying 3 versions out on the stream because I want to see which version's the best, and I want to see what how everything kind of interacts together. I'm kind of interested to see how if Luffy's Haru can make a comeback. A 7 drop 8K that just has rush that cheats another body down. That's
I
not too bad.
like the Luffy Taro like potential because you can get 3 bodies out in one turn. It's just so like
Glass cannony,
hand. What's that?
glass cannony.
Glass cannony, but also like you need so much resource to do it. It eats 2 cards out of your hand in a deck that kind of doesn't have a lot of hand advantage.
Yeah, so I'm excited, but yeah, there's not a lot of change here, so probably should move on to OP15. Talking
Yeah,
about the meta here. So the
for
meta shift
sure.
for 15, we have 29% of the 14 decks at 29% is a Nell. We have 4 decks, 80%, which is Lucy. And then we have 5% called Gara, or 5 decks, which is 10% called Gara. And 12 decks at 24% is Boa Hancock. Emu is kind of gone, like it's nowhere to be found, which is a good thing, in my
Yeah,
opinion. But
agree.
Crocodile still shows up. And so I guess, what do you think about this meta right here? Like, this is still a little bit, I would say, kind of would you consider this meta to be jungle still or not?
Yeah, I mean it's very diverse. There are certainly decks that I think are the strongest, but even in that grip of decks, it's like I think it's four decks that are probably the strongest, and then like a bunch of decks that are highly viable. Like I think Nami, Boa, Enel, and Lucy are probably some of the strongest. Oh, I think Rosinante is really good as well. So if I was going to throw a 5th deck in there, I think that's really, really good too, even if it's not necessarily represented on the pie chart.
Yeah, sadly he's
Um,
not here.
but I think some percentages in this are gonna be like people excited to play new stuff. Some people are testing their decks that they're already playing. Um, but I think the meta's still pretty open. I think a handful of the decks are very, very viable. I think some of them are a little bit more casual viable. I think I think some of them are sleepers though. Like I think Yellow Luffy is a sleeper deck. I don't think enough people have put the time into it to like really really go ham with it yet.
Yeah, I was just curious because I mean, 'cause typically when you see a 50% of the meta share is two decks, that typically means it's not really open. But at the same time, it's just early. I'm not so people are going to be trying a nail at an unproportional rate to see how good it is, and if people are under the impression that is the hotness of OP15.
And
So,
Nell's a really good deck. It's really strong. It's very consistent. It has a lot of draw power.
but
Almost every card in the deck draws another card.
but I'm kind of curious why would you think Boa Hancock is there? Like, and it's not really new, right? She's not a new leader, so she's taking up.
It's because of the Borsalino Quasar combo.
True. Yeah, that is a very annoying combo right there.
Yeah, that's super duper strong.
Yeah, we were talking about that before this podcast. We're talking about my opinion is they should actually either pair ban the Quasar to every leader but Vegapunk, or just ban that card.
I think egghead leaders should be able to Quasar. Because a lot of egghead leaders are a little underwhelming. Like, given Bonnie, red yellow Bonnie is a menace. I don't think Quasar comboing in yellow Bonnie's that big of a deal. I don't think Quasar comboing in Luffy's that big of a deal. I think running the Quasar combo in Luffy is actually kind of moomy.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna take you a while to get down to 2 life in the first place.
Exactly. It takes a while to get down to 2 life, and it's like, what are you either have to luck sack Quasar out of life naturally, or you have to plant it in life, which means you have to run suboptimal 2K counter when you could run like your only real flex 2K counter is Usopp,
Yeah,
and the
so
trigger on that is really good.
so the only way that Luffy could do it, and most of the time, right, is its event. So you search look tough 6 and you sort your life cards in any order.
No, absolutely not. You could just play the 2K counter Hiyori, or you
Yeah,
could
I mean, yeah,
run
you can. I
the.
was thinking that's the prominent way they do it, right? Isn't there? I'm saying
Oh, I mean, yeah,
the event.
but you're still just chancing that you have the event in life at that point. But yeah, that is how people are probably setting it up or
Yeah,
hoping to set it up. I don't run Flame Dragon King. I think that event's bad. It's a really good event. The issue is that a good player will just not swing into you when you have 2 Dawn open, or they'll swing more than a 9K.
yeah, it's like the same kind of thing. Like if you know the up Luffy has 2 Dawn up, like are you really gonna swing into that optimally? Like they have Thunder Bagua and they're just gonna ramp
Exactly.
one. Like why are you
Exactly.
doing it?
Instead, you just develop your board. You swing the next turn. Because what are they going to do on the next turn? They either have to play off curve suboptimally, or they they don't get to use the card. They have a brick in hand, and I'm fine with either of those.
Yeah, and you just basically force them to leave up 2 Dawn for no reason. So it's like one of those situations. Yeah, I agree. That's probably a very important thing to consider. So getting into these, like, okay, so these two are on top. Of course, you said of course Borsellino, and Nell. So you think Borsellino is just like a lot better in Boa than it is in Denami? Like as a
I think a lot more people are utilizing it because you were already running the Gloriosa 2 cost.
you're talking about the Haiori? Oh, the grandma?
Well, I mean, both of them do the same thing.
Yeah. Then grandma, yeah. True. So yeah, they have like 6 copies of that effect typically.
Yeah, and 2 of them are searchable. So
I could see that one. Hey, that's a pretty good reason to have play that over the Nami because the old lady isn't necessarily as good. I mean, she's a 1K counter, not a very good attack stat either. She's just suboptimal. I mean, so Nami, you could play the 2K one just because it's 2K for Hiyori.
yeah,
But
yeah, you usually already run a couple copies of Hiyori because it also triggers leader effect.
yes, and you draw a card from that. Yeah, pretty good
Yeah.
stuff. So we're going to, of course, talk about the 3 new leaders that have the most kind of wins except Brook. I guess we could talk about Brook if we really wanted to, but
We can talk about Brook and Luffy if we have the time. We could do Brook, Luffy, Lucy,
there,
and Enel.
there he is. All right, let's start off with Brook
Because
because
I know a
he's
lot of people are really excited about Brook.
yeah, because I mean he's one of the last two Straw Hats that didn't have a card, so super
Yep.
excited about that. So Brook is coming in. It looks like they're playing the one drop 2K mill. It's like Trash 3, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that it mills.
Yeah, and it's a 2K counter. You're not going to complain
Oh,
about that.
doesn't it? If you have 15 cards in trash, I think it also like trashes itself to give a dawn to a leader or character.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, it's good, especially in the last turn where you have no cards in deck and you kind of need to get that final win swing. So this version is playing the new 4 copies of the Pirates Docking 6, which I assumed would be probably a playset. I'm trying this version out in the self-mill version of Purple Black Luffy. I think it's actually going to be, hopefully it's pretty good. I hope. Let's pray that it's good.
I think the idea is that it's just like another target to play off of the Nami.
Yeah, it's a solid pick off Nami, and then almost fails. You get a Zoro back, like, or a Chopper, and you just get back another Nami. It is playing low on Beppo, which makes a lot of sense. Like that's like the best 10 drop in green and black together. A couple copies of 4 drop Nami, pretty good. So like it has like a lot of the best stuff. I'm surprised only 2 copies of the 6 drop Double Strike
I
though.
think it's just because you find it really easy.
Yeah, I mean you do trash a lot of cards, so
You either add it off of your chopper trash search or you just play it out with Nami. So like you don't necessarily have to utilize things in the same way.
so like I mean, and then you have Zoro.
Yeah, that Zoro is just good.
Yeah. I'm hoping that they reprint this in the next PRB set, which is kind of weird because it came out in PRB the last time.
Yeah, it is kind of. But I think there are I think all of the PRB cards pretty much need to be reprinted in the next reprint set. I don't think they should create brand new cards. Like the Sanji leader was fine, but like creating staple relevant cards or like meta relevant cards and putting them into a reprint set is not the move.
I
Give
mean,
stuff
yeah,
new rarities. I'm fine with that.
it is a little hit and miss, right? Because I think they did fine for like Charlotte Pudding. She's like $1.50, so she was a solid choice. Like she bumps up Katakuri. She's not really used outside of Katakuri.
But the reason she's cheap isn't because of like availability of the card. It's because Katakuri and Pudding aren't really meta relevant at the moment.
Well, it's
That
because
card was $20.
I say when I'm more implying that she is restricted enough to where she is cheap. Kobe is not restricted, right? You play him in every red deck that you can that's aggressive. Zoro, you play in pretty much every green deck. It's a 2K counter blocker that gives you a reward for if it's rested. So something's rested. So like it's just a good card, pound for pound. So unlike Pudding, the Blackbeard card, like it's very restricted, strictly to Blackbeard, so it's not that expensive. The Jinbei also is not restricted. It's kind of restricted.
The Jinbei and the Blackbeard are both for sure more restricted. Jinbei is in like a essentially a dead archetype as well, with like most of the blue 7 warlord stuff rotating out. It's like technically generic, but it's in a dead archetype.
Yeah, so like I think they did right. Like I'm fine with them making cards like that where it boosts the leader and it's restricted to a leader like that, so where it won't be a format staple like Zoro was and etc. Like, then you won't have an $8 card, right? If Kobe was strictly restricted just to Kobe, would he be an $8 card still?
Well, Kobe's like an $8 card because of Kobe. It's because of all of the buffs that Kobe got. Like he's yes.
Fair, fair. But I also like I remember for a long time like green red smoker played Kobe. Like there was other decks that played Kobe. Like
Yeah, but those are also navy. To get both of the effects of Kobe, one of them is restricted to navy type.
I think yeah, the buff is, isn't it?
Yeah, which
Yep.
is a very strong buff.
So, but what do you think? What are you thinking about this deck? Like, is this a deck you're excited to try out on day one? Like, I'm definitely gonna be playing
No.
it on my channel. No, you're not.
I mean, I'm not excited to play it because I'm not really a green black player. I'm not a green player or like usually a black player. I think it's a cool ass deck though. I'm excited to see people play it. I think it's nifty.
Yeah, black. I'm very hit and miss on. Like the
Like
old.
I will sorry.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I will be playing it. Like I'll probably have a video out on it next week or the or this week or the week after. But like it's not something I'm gonna main.
Yeah, I'm not gonna main it either. I mean, I'm not really a green player. I will play green maybe with purple, but yeah. What I was just saying was like black's a hit and miss color for me. Like sometimes it's like perfect, right? Like crocodile, love it. Blackbeard, love it. Um, and purple black Luffy, which technically I guess is not really black until now. Like now we actually have good black cards for it, but most of the time it was purple. So like, but old Navy leaders that were black, like Sakazuki and any deck that played the old 10 drop Kuzan, like the heavy removal black decks, not a fan. So like black is like a very weird color. So like either they hit a home run or they just strike out, in my opinion.
I like Crocodile a ton, as far as like mono black leaders go, but usually if I'm playing black, it's like a mixed colored leader, like purple black Luffy or black yellow Luffy.
I mean, actually, even black yellow Gecko Moria was pretty okay with me.
Yeah, yep. I
So,
liked black yellow Koala as well. It just never
oh
really
yeah,
took off.
that was the first leader I was like, man, I didn't know that black and yellow could be fun.
Yeah,
Even separately, then it's when they merged them together, I was like, this is actually a very fun leader. I had a
yep.
blast, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play more black and yellow. I'm gonna try it out.
Koala's really cool. It's just not quite there.
I don't know what she needs either to make her relevant.
I don't know, because it seems like every single card that they make that would be like good in her is just infinitely better in Sabo.
Yeah, she's more like the. I guess if you couldn't, since you couldn't play Sabo in the Heroin Cup, I guess if you wanted to port your stuff over and you wanted to play it still, you could have played.
You're still missing out on all the like good red stuff that you run.
I think the other thing that's holding her back is the fact that you have to play 4 copies of Kuma, like,
Yeah.
and that's like a $40
Well,
card.
even with Kuma in the deck, it's not like that's what puts her into being meta. I have Kumas.
Yeah, I'm lucky you. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean like yeah, I will say lucky me because I bought them for like $20 a piece on release, like pre-release,
Yeah,
but I'm saying that it doesn't like that's not the only piece that is missing.
yeah.
Because you can play it on the sim for free, you know, and you have Kumas on the sim.
I wonder if she could use Borsalino. Would that be enough to bump her up?
Borsalino. What Borsalino?
The new yellow one.
Oh, I mean, it'll be good. It wouldn't be like groundbreaking. She can use the new Nami from EBO3 as well.
Yeah, the new Nami makes some sense too because she is kind of like a life burning leader because she does punish
They
you for
just
playing A drops and
don't
double spells.
necessarily do a whole lot in terms of her leader effect.
Yeah, they're just pound for pound good cards. So that's like one of those things. Let's get into Rebecca next. This is a leader that I wasn't had on the docket, but he mentioned it, and I did see that a lot of people were talking. This is probably like A tier deck. Like it's
I'm eating my words, dude, and I hate to say it. This can be a hard deck. It can do good. They just play down, they go first, they play down one of their one cost, they bounce it back for Kyros. I even saw people playing one of the other the 3/4 that gives itself rush. Like, this deck actually, it does not too bad. It's very interesting.
So it's more of a aggro deck. I haven't actually got to watch it yet.
It's very aggressive. It just spams out Kyros basically every turn, or 2 Kyros every turn.
Yeah, and then you get to technically you could loop this Sabo. So it's really good for Sabo. So I guess my only concern about that is like that. I guess that kind of puts us into the conversation later about power creep. Because I mean, for I guess Jinbei would be the competing other blue leader that's aggressive. And this leader's clearly, or based on what you're saying in results so far, it actually looks like it's better than Jinbei.
No, I'm not going to say that. I think I think it's a sleeper in comparison to what I expected it to be. I'm not saying it's
Yes.
meta.
Yes. I mean, everyone thought it was not going to be
It
as
could
great because this
it could
one
be
line of
meta.
text.
I think it's a lot better than everyone, including myself, thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
The support does play well for it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, imagine how good this leader would be if it actually could attack.
Oh yeah, it'd be insane if it could also attack. And I thought originally that's what I felt was holding it back, but in actuality, it doesn't hold it back that much. Because like you can't really get rid of the Kyros; it just goes back to their hand.
Yeah, it has the second ability on KO. Yeah, unless they, of course, they bottom deck it, which
Or
is,
trash it,
but there's gonna be less bottom decking now because of the fact that Red Rock rotates. So I mean, I guess this
yeah.
deck.
Also, they run Leo, which is the protection card. So it's really hard to remove the Kyros from the game.
Yeah, because you have to. Because even if you Red Rock, right, I'm pretty sure you could just tuck
Yep.
your Leo and then it counters the second half.
Yep.
So you have to like individually do Leo first and then come back and get the Kyros. But Gravity Blade would be decent into this deck from Sabo if you can get rid of the Leo first.
Yeah. But not a lot of decks can Gravity Blade and do another form of removal in the same turn. It's like yellow or blue yellow Nami, basically, if they run Nojiko. And that's 9 Dawn.
Yeah, and Saji could do it too, because he could minus
Yeah.
3, then he could do the 3 drop, tuck a 4K or 4
Yep.
cost, and then you could do the Gravity Blade with the Reiju. So
That's if they tuck the Leo, though. If they have a full board, they can just tuck something else. And the Leo's not once per turn.
yeah, technically you can't. Yeah, he could if you have 2 of them down, or if you have
You don't
Leo
even
with
have
something
to have
else.
you don't even have to have 2 of them down.
Yeah,
If you have 5 characters on the field, you can protect this 5 times, 4 times.
yeah, you just bottom deck your
You just bottom deck
Viola.
the other stuff that you don't care about.
Aiming Pudding is also one of those cards like you're just gonna do it one time anyways. You don't care about it post the on of play, so you just easily put her to the bottom for
Yeah.
Leo's ability, and then you're like, okay, well Leo's protected. I'm actually surprised they worded him like this.
They worded all of them like that.
I mean, I feel like he should have been just other, but the whole fact, I feel like they should have just been
I agree.
other characters.
I agree.
Yeah, but they didn't. They really hate removal now. I'm kidding. But kind of nice to see Rebecca. Would get any other closing thoughts about Rebecca?
No. It's better than I thought, unfortunately.
So next on our docket is, of course, Lucy. This deck is, people have argued it's like the second best deck in the next format.
I think this deck's crazy good.
And for the most part, it's a pretty much all new cards. I am kind of worried about the cost of these because I mean both of these decks play 4 copies of Sabo. It's not like Emu, right, where one deck played the 5 Elders, so his cost was kind of relatively cheap. The Sabo might be like a $4 card, I would assume.
Hopefully.
But yeah, so what are you thinking about Lucy? I know you mentioned that it's probably one of the harder leaders. Um,
Yeah, I think it's very like high skill floor, high skill ceiling, but it's really really good. There's a lot of removal in it. The 7 cost, the red one, just drops the power of a character by 8k until the end of your opponent's next turn. Super, super good. And you can just drop this off of the 7 cost Sabo, which is insane. Very strong.
yeah,
I think it's a really good deck. I just think it's hard to pilot.
I'm actually surprised they not playing any of the um draw draw twos
The 4 cost is a draw too.
and trash one. Yeah, but I thought they also released a 3 drop that you just draw two, like this one.
I've seen some lists that do run it.
Because I mean, for Lucy, that's just 3 dawn, draw three. So
Yeah, but every one of these cards is already a draw 1.
yes, they all are, except for this one. Yeah,
Yeah, which is just a cycle card essentially.
yeah, it's a searcher. I'm actually surprised. I've never seen this card used before. I don't even know if Ubisoft
Doesn't
used
the
it.
7 cost blue card also draw cards? Nope.
This one
The
here,
event.
this one here,
Yep.
draw two. Yeah,
So like I think you just have better things than playing a 3 cost draw 3. This is a list that I like a lot more than the more event heavy lists. I didn't think the event heavy lists were as aggressive as they needed to be.
yeah. I mean, this list leader kind of has like a Voltron-y feel, right? Kind of like how Yamato is. I mean, just giving your thing a +3 and double attack can definitely just put the clock game away with just hitting for 8 twice
Yeah,
and just giving them 2 life.
especially on a turn where you're also playing down a 7/9 blocker, or a turn after you've already played down a 7/9 blocker and you're playing another one.
Yeah. So overall, I think I'm kind of interested to see how this deck pilots. I know it's gonna probably I'm gonna get a lot of feedback in the comment section on my videos, like, dude, you did this wrong. I'm like, I understand it's probably gonna be the case, especially on the first time going through this deck. Sequencing is probably gonna be a huge part of this deck, which I need to improve on. I'm kidding. Sometimes you get a joke. So I do think this list is gonna be pretty interesting, and hopefully, maybe this is the best, blue red mid rangey pile going forward. Maybe competing with Ace.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a pile, but yeah. I think it probably competes with Ace. Cause like even if they have a Whitebeard out, you just reduce it down to 4k power and you swing into it. And you don't really run any bricks. I mean you do, you run like 10, 10 bricks, but it's a very interesting deck.
For sure. And last but not least, we got the God himself. He calls
The
himself
creme de
God,
la creme.
which is another event based leader. So, which is kind of interesting to me. He plays a lot of events here, plus Gamma Knife. So really the only cards you could buy now are just this pudding, the Sanji, and this Gamma Knife.
I
Otherwise, it's
actually
all
have
new.
recently stocked up on all of those cards.
I don't think I'm playing her all that much. I think I bought her for Sanji, and of
Yeah,
course,
that's all she's played in until now.
yeah, because you have so many events. And then Gamma Knife, I haven't. I think it's probably sitting in my playable pile. I haven't.
I've You can go back and watch like any stream where I'm running Purple and L testing it out. I've talked about how I like Gamma Knife more than I like um Divine Departure. Because that's the other power reducing card that they run is Divine Departure. I think Gamma Knife is better for the deck. I think you're able to do better like dawn management where you're able to swing different numbers and you're able to swing more aggressive with more characters because you don't have to waste all of your Dawn on Divine Departure.
And it's also better because you actually want the Dawn -1. So that way you have a Dawn off the table so you could actually
Exactly.
use the ability to attach the Dawn.
Exactly.
So yeah, I would say this is definitely better than Divine Departure. Even though Divine Departure is a defensive spell, it's the only thing it has
It
on it.
is, but so are most of the cards in the deck.
But who needs to be defensive when you have a turn 3 10Ks? Like who needs to be
Well,
defensive?
you have this list is also like actually kind of defensive, and inherently it now runs 12 2Ks. No, sorry. It runs 8 2Ks with events. And then the 0 cost is a +1 that draws a card. So the KO event, the one right above the cursor, nope, that's the -1. Yep, L4. This one does Dawn minus, and then you give 1k power and you KO a 3k power or less, or it gives an Enel, any Enel card on the field plus 2k. So it's just a 2k counter as well.
Yeah,
But
so
you can't use it on characters.
oh
Well,
you
little
can
characters.
just in L's.
Yes, just the Enel characters.
So I mean honestly this feels like the Rayleigh done right. Right? If they would have revisited Rayleigh and
Yeah.
made it and actually at today's standard, this probably would be it.
This is absolutely similar to Rayleigh, just like slightly different and like a little bit more restrictive in how you have to use your Dawn.
Yeah, because you don't get to go to 10.
Yep.
But ironically, I was thinking about it. Like under the rules of the game, you only have only have 10 Dawn. Is that actually a good thing or a bad thing for the leader?
You're pretty much never at less than 6 after you hit 6 because of the leader effect. Or like you end your turn at 4, that way you're back up to 6 on your next turn. But you're never like at 0 Dawn from using all of your minus effects. I don't think it really hurts the deck. I think there are some times where the extra 4 Dawn would be nice for swinging another body, but I think you can manage your Dawn and do the same thing.
What I'm saying is like what I was thinking more of, like, so if this line of text was gone from this leader, how broken would this leader be? Because I mean,
Uh,
you would have to stay at 6 or less to keep your Enels at full strength. Like
I
you're
mean, I think it would be harder for the leader to pilot and do what it needs to do.
Yeah, 'cause this is kind of a catch, so that way you
Yeah.
don't make mistakes with this leader.
Like
Which
they obviously set this up to play in the way that it does around the leader restriction, but like actively trying to be at 6 or less Dawn is really hard to do. Being at what would be your 10 Dawn turn and having to have like dropped down 4 Dawn, you have to be able to -4 Dawn every single turn, which I guess you can, but then you're also not using your leader effect.
yeah,
Because the leader effect ramps you 5 Dawn.
it's up to. So you could not
Yeah,
do
yeah,
all of it.
technically.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I actually was wondering if this actually is making the leader too easy. Versus like, and if it was gone, like if you would have just made these have this line of text, then you're basically playing it kind of the same approach, but it's
Well,
harder for you.
I'm not gonna say that purple and L is easy.
I'm not saying that.
It's,
Okay, I shouldn't say that either. I'm saying it would be harder for you if this line of text wasn't there.
yes, I
Yeah.
think that's the point of the cards being designed the way that they are. They're supposed to be played in this deck. If you want to try using them in other decks, you have to Dawn minus. But technically, if you really wanted to and you established the 6 cost blocker NL, the SR, that's an active main to make it a blocker. So you can just keep activating it every turn to make it to -4 Dawn.
So like maybe this player's off, but like so is there
Yeah,
is it
I don't know why they're on
two?
on 2. I mean, you don't ever really need to establish more than two of them because you also establish three of the other one, and getting three 10k bodies out or five 10k bodies, that pretty much just closes the game. But even just getting the 6 cost 10k body that you can start swinging with every turn, you close out games quick with this deck.
Yeah, I gotta imagine it's a lot more aggressive, for sure.
It is interesting that they seem to have cut it to two. That way they can run two of the Divine Soldier or whatever it is, the 1 cost blocker. Divine
Mm-hmm.
Heavenly Warrior. Sorry, that's what it is. So they cut it so they could run two of those, which I don't hate. I like the idea of being able to play a 1 cost body and then play one of your other bodies that does Dawn minus. I hate like playing a body and then minusing that Dawn, but that's just like a weird OCD for me. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I enjoy being able to establish two bodies, and the blocker is really good.
Yeah, I was kind of curious, like, why would you? I guess it's 2K, so you would favor it. It's your 2K slot. Yeah,
The Sanji is just a searchable 2K. You can find it off of Pudding, but it's also just a 3 cost late
true.
game.
Yeah, the synergy there. Plus, you can find it off your now if you
Yep.
need it.
It's also you're usually at less than two Dawn, like two or less, or two or more Dawn less than your opponent. So it's just 3 Dawn to establish a 6K body.
What I'm curious to see is this might be crazy. How good would these two be in Reiju?
People are talking about it for sure.
Because I
I
mean,
think that's the deck that would maybe use them.
yeah, I mean, because if you Dawn -1 every turn, you just draw a card off of Reiju's ability, leader ability. It's very likely you stay around the same Dawn, like 6 or
I've
less.
played against a ton of Reiju players who had less than 6 Dawn the whole game.
Yeah, and I was probably one of them. I remember one game I started off and I ended that turn on with 1 Dawn. I started with 4, I went down to 1. I was like, it's just too easy to do. Especially since there's so much clicking, you're just like kind of going through the motions, and it's just like you're a 1 Dawn. Oh well, that's nice. So I wonder if these two would be good in that deck. Like it's just a
I
solid.
mean, I don't think they're bad, but you do discard a card every time you use either of their effects,
Oh yeah, trash 1 card.
which isn't mandatory if you're at 0, but it hurts when you're at 10 or 5 or 3.
Yeah, so it basically just turns Reiju into a looter, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you discard a card with this to get the Dawn minus to trigger Reiju draw a card. So like you could just throw away a card.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so overall this deck does look pretty interesting. Like I am definitely curious to see how much this actually is going to cost. With
I think,
I gotta
unfortunately, it's
imagine,
going to be expensive.
I gotta imagine it's going to be a $20 card at minimum.
At minimum, yeah.
It
It might even be like Kuma level of expensive.
So this might be one of those weird cases. If the card looks reasonable on pre-release, pre-sale, buy that thing
Yeah,
potentially. So like you don't want to be in a Kuma situation where it's $20. You're like, okay, well this is gonna come down eventually,
and it
right?
doesn't.
And it doesn't, right? And you end up like, oh well, this now is $35. I'm playing yellow. This might be one of the few exceptions in where you're like, well, it's $20 on pre-sale. I might just want to buy it.
If you see a secret rare in the $20 to $25 range, like sure, they might go down in price at some point, but if you buy them at $20 to $25, a deck is going to come out that's going to be very playable that you're going to want these for. Like right now it's this deck.
Yeah.
We don't know what's coming out in OP16 yet. So like if you want to play Purple Enel, you need that purple 6 cost secret rare. Like it's crucial for the deck. You need the SR blocker as well. Like if the blocker, if you see it for $10 to $15, like I would grab them.
Yeah,
Obviously, it seems like you can run 2 of them. This guy's doing it. I would personally get 4 and 4, but that's just ratios that I'm running.
Yeah, even if you you start off with this list right here, like there's going to be differences, changes in meta where you're like, okay, well, this
Yes.
one actually is better in that current meta state than this, so then you're going to do a flip flop until the meta switches again. Like
Yep.
it's just 100% dependent on what you anticipate.
Like,
It's good to have them in your collection for when the meta needs to switch.
if you see them at a good enough price, don't wait thinking, oh, they're just going to go down. Like they might, but you're going to miss out on playing the deck. And then if something comes up and this deck becomes playable again, or they make a different leader that like plays off of these sets of cards, they're going to spike in price. Look at the 4-cost Cavendish, the blue rare. That's $4-5 right now.
Yeah, that's right here. Yep, 417 on TCG Player.
Yeah,
According to
that's
this
crazy.
site.
That card was like 30 cents.
Yeah, I have only one copy of it because I went looking because I was building Ace this past weekend. Because I just like I already have the Marcos, I already have the White Beards. Like, what am I missing in this deck to make it actually a blue red Ace deck? And I was like, okay, well, I'm missing a very few amount of cards, and that happened to be one of them. I've seen people are starting to play 2 or 3 copies in Ace now.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't know, I could, but still, I guess it doesn't matter about this. I guess to this question here, this conversation about it now. And it's not even including, I mean, these cards probably might jump again. I assume they're not done printing a little bit more support for this leader. I would not be surprised in the future we get another rare for this deck in particular. This event also, I gotta imagine, is not going to be very cheap either, being an SR.
I think probably $10+. $10+ SR.
Yeah, some people, I think we're talking about this in purple black Luffy.
Oh yeah,
because you get Dawn -2.
Totally good.
You Dawn -2, draw a card, rest at 5,000. But like it is a little weird that it's only plus 1k. And if you 6 plus Dawn, draw a card, but you wouldn't really get the second half in purple black Luffy.
You would use it earlier in the game.
But this is kind of like this one here is kind of like your Usohachi kind of effect. It's like you could technically play that. So yeah, you have anything else you want to talk about with the Nell? We're getting to the last topic.
Just read your cards, everyone. Make sure you know what the deck does.
Yeah.
Some card, you would think every one of the cards had counter on them, but they don't. Keep that in mind.
It's close though. This deck is very close.
Yeah, I mean the events.
Yeah, the events. Yeah.
The dragon one doesn't have counter. Yeah, that one. Lightning Dragon.
Yeah.
And then also L Thor does not draw you a card. One more.
Yeah.
So just like read your cards, understand how the advantage engine works, but the deck's really fun and it's definitely really strong.
Yeah, so would you say the most of the complication parts are actually in the events? Kind of like Reiju?
Yeah, just understanding what your cards do. Very similar to Reiju. I think
not Reiju.
Or Rayleigh. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because Rayleigh
I think there's going to be a lot of confusion due to the events, the same way there was confusion due to the events in Rayleigh.
Yeah, so like that was definitely an interesting thing. I was actually watching a video and they were talking about it, and the person put Rayleigh in like the A tier for recommended starting to if you started getting into the game, starting with this leader. I was like, I don't know about that one. I've heard people say that's like the hardest red deck in the game.
That is for sure the most complex red deck that there is.
Yeah, because if you don't know the math going into every single equation, like it's not, you're not gonna have a good time.
It's basically Lucci but red.
Yes. So I mean, Lucci is. Would you say Lucci is easier or harder than
Rayleigh? Rayleigh? Oh no, I said Lucci, not Lucy.
Okay. Yeah, so I was kind of shocked by that. I was like, I would have put it in like the D tier or F tier. Because like
Yeah, I
that
would
leader,
not. That's not the deck I would recommend someone play their first time.
honestly, I think it might be harder than Blackbeard. Uh,
Maybe, yeah.
because Blackbeard, like, all you need to do with Blackbeard is you need to focus on what your opponent is playing, ask questions, learn the cards. Once you, that's actually, I think I don't mind recommend that to beginner because it kind of encourages you to be hyper focused on the game and understanding everyone's deck inside and out, which is always rewarding for a new player to know that kind of stuff. Like,
Hmm.
so, but then again, maybe I'm different. It's also like a third, like a $25 deck too. Um, but all right, so let's go and get into the last topic. Okay, so the last topic is I wanted to bring it up. So I know like a lot of people in Magic the Gathering, of course, are always talking about fatigue, right? Buyer fatigue. And some people I think brought it up in the One Piece community because we are going through the hyper catch up period. Um, where people are talking about, well, there's too many sets, there's EB like galore. You also have your OP sets. You had like OP 14, then you had EBO3 like a month after, which now you have OP 15 a month after that. So like it's just like a hyper, boom, boom, boom. Where I think my opinion, the main thing I don't like about it, I don't mind that they're that quick, close together or whatever. To me, it's more of the insane amount of power creep involved. Because like you sit there and you invest into a deck, like I spent, arguably like $80 into Dofi, and you're like, well, this leader is kind of just not as relevant now. And it's only been two sets, right, since it's been out. So it's like one of those situations that my opinion is more of what hurts more is when the deck turn is too much. Then I get buyer fatigue because at that point I'm just constantly buying too many decks. The wife looks at me like, "What are you doing? Like you're just wasting money at this point." And I got nothing to respond to because I'm like, "You're technically right." Because the deck I just bought is already obsoleted because I bought into Roger. Um, which I guess it wasn't that expensive. The Roger 10 drop red Roger is probably the most expensive card in the deck. And then of course then I bought into a Dofi because I thought it's just a better, I think personally a better leader than Roger. But Roger also is getting Zoro, so it might be the same level now. But what are your thoughts?
I think power creep is a bit annoying. I wish it would slow down. It doesn't need to be as apparent as it is. Like every set doesn't need to creep out the previous set the way that it's been happening. But I think it also feels worse just because we are on an advanced schedule at the moment. We're getting sets like every month, every like month and a half to 2 months versus every 3 months. So like a format used to feel stale towards the last month and a half, and now it's like it's the opposite. It feels like we're not even having enough time to settle in before everything is creeped out.
Yeah, I mean,
I think once it links up globally, it won't be as bad because we'll be on that 3 month cycle again. We also won't have a format ahead of us to look at to be like, oh, well, this is going to be better. It's going to be more fun. So I don't even want to play what's out right now.
that actually is a conversation we talked about previously on this podcast. Way before you, though. It was with the half breed and previously. We were talking about it, and my biggest critique was, I think, of OP12 and 13. So both of them. Like, I was looking forward, and I'm just like, I'm not even excited to play them, for one, based off the East, and two, I'm looking at the current decks that I'm thinking about buying into, and I'm like, well, they're not really relevant anymore because I know how good this deck is in the East right now. So why even invest in this deck in the West now? Because it's not going to be a contender going forward. Sometimes I didn't listen to my own advice and I bought into Katakuri and I still upgrade my Katakuri list, and it's still my pet deck. I think with purple black Luffy. But for anything other than that, I just can't justify. If I know I'm looking at the deck list and I look at the East and they're playing 15, and I immediately see that my deck list is gone. off the face of the earth, then I'm just not going to buy it in the West. I'll just push it off.
It's
So
hard to be a heavily serious, like competitive player because you have to bounce between decks every meta. And sometimes you're only in one or two big events for the format. So it's like you just spent 100, 200 plus dollars buying whatever the best deck is for the format to hopefully do good. That way you can get into events in the next format.
yeah, but I guess my conversation was more is it's kind of the negative of us not being in, of course, simultaneous releases is if you are in the West and you're behind, then it might make you spend less money than you normally would because you already see the future. In the future, well, it doesn't look like your deck is worth the investment in the first place. So you just don't spend money, which actually is a negative for the game. But thankfully, that's getting fixed. So, like, we are getting to the point where everyone's released on the same day, and we don't know what leaders are going to be inherently broken and what leaders are going to be pushed out of the format. But still, with the caveat there, like, my concern is more of, okay, so I understood, like, when 13 came out, I was like, okay, well, this is going to be the power level going forward of Block 4. Like, this is the standard. But, so, and then 14 came out. It didn't really deter from that standard. So I was looking at it in OP13. I was like, the standard's still there, right? The power creep is kind of like flesh with each other. It makes for a jungle meta. And then I look at this meta that I'm like, well, and now clearly it's better than the other, 12 leaders that we've gotten already in this Block 4. So I don't know. That's more of my concern, an issue. Like, it kind of validates the last two sets. But
I mean, I don't know if it does. The two 6 cost Enel cards are very good, but other than that, it's just a small body deck.
and
Some decks play incredibly well into this. Any deck that runs stun is really good into this. Green is probably really, really good into this deck. Yellow Thriller Bark is really good into the deck.
yeah, because Perona
Blue
could
is
hit
like,
it, right?
what's that?
Because Perona could hit it.
Yeah. Anything that stuns can stun these Enels. So like anything in like Mihawk probably roasts this deck hard.
That makes me more depressed. I'm kidding. It's always been I think a problem with purple. It's always been kind of bad into green, typically because you invest
Right.
so much into one character, except for blue purple Luffy, where Sanji kind of creates a imbalance in that matchup and actually makes you kind of favored into green. The purple always is kind of bad into green because green could stun your big bodies. You vest 9 Dawn on, even though you did it
Hmm.
earlier than them. They could stun them down enough to when they get to their Lombepa, well, you're just kind of tempoed out.
Yep.
Um, so I understand that. Like, this is definitely a 6 drop, and I mean, but Perona, I could definitely see being a pretty good thing for this. Like, it hits everything in this deck. But I do like the fact that they literally made Krieg, and I was like, before you even see the 6 drops, if you would have seen every other card but the 6 drop, you're like, okay, well, clearly Krieg was meant to keep Enel in check. But then you see the 6 drops, and you're like, well, that's not really the case. So it's like, because 10k bodies, there's one now an 8k. So
So when I saw Krieg and I saw the 8 cost, I was like, oh wow, this is like meant to beat Emu. And then I've like played games against Krieg and it's way worse than I thought it was going to be.
oh, Krieg itself, the deck.
Yeah, the deck is not very good.
I mean, yeah, that's gonna be one of those decks that might not gotten all their support from the first set. Maybe I hope. Hopefully they don't shaft
It
it.
seems like it's missing a card or two.
Like, what cards do you think it's missing?
I have no idea.
Like,
I don't know.
I mean, we did. I think we did.
I don't play Krieg. The deck just came out.
Yeah. And I guess we did talk about last time in the podcast. We did mention like the 2 drop slot is kind of where I know it's definitely
Yeah.
missing something, and maybe even the 4 drop slot. Then again, it does play Arlong, I think, in the 4 drop slot. But yeah, so that was interesting. Like, I thought it was funny. Like, this clearly Krieg was meant to beat small decks, like yellow technically, because yellow likes to go like 6K bodies, go wide.
Hmm.
It's probably pretty good into that, but then you're like, oh well, now it's a bunch of 2K bodies, like so was Silver's Rayleigh, which I mean, you would think Krieg would be good into Silver's Rayleigh. Um, but then you see these two 6 drops and like, well, that's 10K. That math ain't mathin'.
Right.
Krieg probably can't beat the 10Ks. So
They have like one card, it's a blocker that puts Dawn onto a character, but so it puts 2 Dawn onto a character, I believe, and then at the end of the turn, you get to choose a character with 3 Dawn attached to it, and it won't become active if it's like 7 cost or lower. So that technically hits the Enel, but it's like I've had turns where I didn't have 3 Dawn. They like played the Kuro blocker down, and there wasn't 3 Dawn on any of my characters, so they didn't freeze anything.
So, do you have any other like things you want to talk about regarding the power creep stuff going on?
No,
Like, because
no,
like,
not
you
really.
think we covered
It's
most of it?
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing that happens with game development over time. It could just happen slower.
Yeah, I hope we don't end up. My main concern is I don't want to end up like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Where every set comes out and you invalidate 100% of the last set, which is what Yu-Gi-Oh does because there's no rotation. And which was why I got excited about rotation being announced in One Piece. I was like, this should alleviate the power creep in some level because you could set at a standard as long as a leader like Enel, which this looks like it has most of the pieces right out of the gate. They didn't really want to like hold out on this leader for the next few sets or an EB set to get the initial pieces, like they did with Sabo and Kuzan and other leaders, where they kind of printed a very strong leader, but they kind of have been sprinkling the power creep cards, which I guess makes sense because it makes a lot of sense in that regard because it was right before the switch to the power creep for block 3 to block 4, and now they can sprinkle it out to where it was like at the same level as we kind of move along. That makes sense.
Yeah, but not every card or leader being support is power creep. I
Uh,
mean, it is like support to help relevant like bring something into relativity again due to power creep, but like nothing that Kuzan has is power creeping anything else out.
okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as in, I actually did I say that they power crept Kuzan like
Yeah, you're like saying that they're sprinkling power creep out to these small. They're sprinkling support out to these other decks
no
that aren't as good for
no
sure
what I
due to
was
power creep.
what I was saying was Kuzan initially I think was at the right power level for the time for every other deck out at that period, and they've been sprinkling them as they went along to stay with about the same power level as every other deck in the format. That's what I was saying. Like they're not really getting power crept; they're just getting sprinkled to stay at the same power level
Yeah,
as
that's
every other deck.
that's I'm agreeing with that.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, so when Kuzan initially came out, yeah, it was missing some pieces, but at the time, I think it still could compete pretty well into the format that it was a part of
I
initially. So,
disagree with that. I think it was a rogue and it was very easy to beat, but that's a different topic.
and then Sabo, I'm saying is the same thing. It came out, it was still pretty decent into OP13 meta. Like, it wasn't like horrible, but now they're sprinkling it a little bit as it goes along. Now it's staying at the same level as OP14 and now OP15 kind of.
Sabo is a leader that like is actually getting the right pieces of support at somewhat the right time.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
To
is like
stay
if it would have started with that same level of support, I think
Oh, it would have
it would
been one of
too
the
strong.
best
It would have
like
been
two
too strong.
decks, 3 decks. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
but now is I think it's like that's what I'm saying. Like they've done a good job, I think, of scaling the leaders as the power creep is going on. That's one thing I will give them that they have done quite well.
Some of them. Some of
Well,
them.
some of them, yes. Like they didn't really give us a great EB03 Katakuri card, but they are giving us two starter. They're giving us a starter deck, so I'm kind of excited. Um, And yeah, I would say that's in Zoro. I guess getting a star deck makes sense too, because I mean it was very strong for a while. They haven't really
Yeah,
got
it
it.
just got very invalidated by Mihawk being popular.
I think it's funny because I think I've seen people talking about that, and they're like, Zoro's not that bad into Mihawk, according to some Zoro players. I don't know. I haven't actually seen the matchup. Yeah, like you're a 6K lead, 5 life, but Zoro is pretty aggressive in its ability to remove characters off board. So
Yeah, you're just invalidating all of the characters that Zoro plays, and you're playing better characters than they are. Bigger bodies that do more.
yeah, and he immediately power crept Tashigi. It's kind of funny they both play Tashigi. Um,
Yeah. But one plays a better Tashigi.
yeah, because I don't think I
Like,
don't.
oh, cool, you want to swing 8K into my 8K body? Go for it.
Yeah, so I wonder what pieces we're gonna get in the starter decks. Like, and again, that's like what 4 months away.
We don't even know. I think maybe August is when we were supposed to get them.
August.
July or August, I'm not even sure.
Hopefully, it's sooner than later. I'm excited about 3 of them. Um, so there's not much else to talk about regarding this topic. If let me know, so let us know in the comment section what you guys think about the power creeping. Is the power creeping getting to you, as in regards to um, the original concept, which was drawing a blank now, save me. um,
Do you think power creep is happening and that's what's ruining and causing player fatigue, or do you think
oh,
too
buyer
many sets
fatigue.
coming out
Yes, buyer
buyer
fatigue.
fatigue?
Yes, that's what it was. Like, because I mean, if because if it's too much of a power creep, you're gonna have to constantly keep buying new decks. You're spending $200 every set. That causes buyer fatigue. If it's yeah, so
Well,
that
just putting out too many sets that people want causes
it can,
buyer
yes.
fatigue.
But for them, a lot of the times it's scalper buyer fatigue, which is a good thing. They need to get out of this game, so we need to fatigue them out.
I mean, even just casual players, when you make too many sets that are cool back to back, the average person doesn't have a ton of money to spend hundreds of dollars on a box every couple of months, every month and a half.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like you do get the FOMO. Like if you were somebody that's doesn't really have the money, you get the FOMO. I want to buy this set for the XX next. Me, for the most part, I typically look at a set like, okay, what one of these cards do I need to buy to upgrade my decks that I already have,
Right, but
and that's
that's
it.
limiting to like, oh, what if you see a deck that you think is cool and you want to play it as well? Now you're not able to build it because you don't have like the extra cash for it.
And that is true. I typically that's not the case for me. I mean, I should say reverse that. Like I don't typically have that extra influx to just go like, oh, well, I want to buy a brand new deck, unless it's relatively reasonable. Like Dofi is not expensive. If it's like $80, okay, fine, I'll drop on
Where
that.
like
But
I make the money to buy the, like, if I need cards, I make sure I have the money to get the cards that I need, but not everyone is like that. Like,
yeah,
I understand that it's hard. Like, a new deck comes out and you think it's really really cool and you want to play it, but you can't afford to shell out $80 because you just spent $80 last month on a deck.
yeah,
Like, a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck and they don't necessarily have the extra income. They're like, oh, do I want to buy this deck or do I want to eat for the week?
yeah. We just don't want to encourage you to go into serious debt either, with a
Yeah.
gigantic credit card check. Like, One Piece. That's not a very good look for the game either, and we don't want that look because we want this game to be the best TCG out there. So, all right, so I think that's going to be the end of this podcast. Let's go ahead and get into closing. So, favorite anime villain, shout outs. What are you excited to potentially stream this week? Go on.
I stream every week. I am excited to hopefully get my shiny Squirtle in Pokemon Leaf Green, but we're still working on it. Come check out my YouTube and my Twitch. I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway soon on YouTube. We're at 89 subscribers right now. We're going to do a giveaway when we hit 100. So I don't know, come check that out. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to play OP15. Not a lot to shout out right now. Other than that, I hope you all have a great week. I'll be back next week, obviously, for another episode.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm definitely excited as well. The stuff dropped on the sim, so I'm definitely excited to get Peanut Butter Luffy going. There's a few other leaders I want to try really a lot, which would be like Calgara. I'm not sure if I want to revisit it for the budget series again. I did feature it once already, but I think for the budget series, I would have to wait a little bit to make sure all those singles or the new cards are cheap. Which I gotta imagine they are, right? I
I
mean,
think outside of maybe the Wiper or like the 4-cost Zoro, it should be pretty cheap to buy. Most of them are low rarity.
I don't.
And that's if they're even running either of those.
I didn't see the Zoro in the list.
Oh, they are running Borsellino and the Luffy. Those are going to be expensive. You can run lists without either of
Yeah,
those.
I,
Same with the Nami. You can run other cards.
yeah, but I don't think you could run the deck without 4 copies of Viper.
No,
So
the
I'm kind of
Wiper's really good. It shouldn't be crazy expensive though. Like I think this is maybe going to be max a $5 card,
yeah,
if even that. That's like I think that's expensive for this Wiper.
yeah. I mean, it looks like we have plenty of good new support, so I'm kind of excited to revisit that deck. Um, Besides that, I'm also excited, of course. But a few other decks. I'm going to be trying out all the new leaders probably relatively soon on my stream. I'm just trying to get over the hump of getting through Magic because I'm close to being caught back up with the new set, TMNT set. That set proves kind of the concept we were talking about earlier about power creep in the reverse scale because it's not a very powerful set. So like it's kind of hard building decks. So featuring new cards that they're all kind of badish. So I don't know. And yeah, so come check us out on the our live streams. I typically stream around 9 to 9:30, 10 Central Time. He usually streams. It's probably better for if you're in California, maybe to catch him. He streams around 2 a.m. East.
Yeah, like
So
2 to 6 or
yeah,
like
so then that
4
would
to
be
8.
that'd be like midnight at California. No, 11,
Roughly,
11 at California.
depending on when I start. Yeah.
Yeah, if you start at 2, that would be 11 p.m. in California, which is a little bit more reasonable. So check both of us out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this podcast. Let us know what you guys, if you have any questions, let us know in the comment section. We'll address them on the next podcast. I haven't been saying that enough technically lately. And we'll talk to you guys next time.